of this final chapter is all about, well, Swamishri's final chapter, but how he remained in love at ease, even the last few years of his life. The organization, his spiritual organization that he was the president of, continued to thrive even as Swamishri's physical health declined. There were a few reasons for it. Swamishri welcomed regular updates. When senior sadhus and trustees came to Sarangpur to share important milestones or ask for advice on certain issues, Swamishri helped as if nothing had changed. When they made decisions on their own, Swamishri blessed them from a distance. Though Swamishri did not retire, he taught a master class on how to empower his bhaktas, his devotees. Swamishri was not the least bit upset when he could not be involved, and he was not the least bit bothered when someone did ask him for advice. He was available to serve with utmost dedication. Then as soon as a meeting ended and the senior sadhus and trustees left his room, Swamishri turned inwards and returned to his bhakti and seva, his loving devotion and selfless service. It was that ideal balance between everything and nothing. Swamishri had not given up, but he had given way. To be at ease is to make room, but also stand by to support. To be at ease is to embrace what is to come. Swamishri was ready to merge with the divine. Death and passing away are terms that scare us. They trigger fear and morbidity, bibbidi bobbidi boop. Morbidity. Swamishri approached this final passage with ease. He set an example for the world to embrace and accept the next chapter. He did not think of it as a passing away, but a passing on. He experienced the Atman, and not just this body. Atman means true self. This allowed him to embrace the passing on of his Atman from this body to return to God. Swamishri regularly reminded his bhaktas that Janmya dhyati jarur jano marvanu che mate ji, which means all who are born will one day pass on. The ease with which he spoke of this concept was a marker of his ability to calmly and comfortably embrace death. I went into Swamishri's room in Gondal on the afternoon of the Gujarati New Year, known as Bestu Varash, the day after Diwali. The morning was hectic, with the Anakut, the mass offering of food to God, known as the Mountain of Food celebrations. Oh, I'd like to experience that. I thought the afternoon would be quieter. I was wrong. Vivek Sargardas Swami, Narayan Charandas Swami, and other sadhus, other monks, whizzed in and out of Swamishri's room with phones as bhaktas from around the world called their guru for blessings. I was sitting in the corner watching Swamishri patiently speak to each bhakta and community leader who called. There was only one Swamishri, and a dozen phones circulating in the hands of the attendants. I was overwhelmed just by watching the scene unfold. I zoned out and started to play with the tassels of a bluish rug on the floor. I was so preoccupied with the rug that I did not realize that I was the only one in the room with Swamishri. My guru patiently watched me daydream. I finally looked up and almost jumped when I realized what had happened. Swamishri was laughing. I was thinking of you earlier today. What happened the other day when you were singing in my morning puja? I tried to jog my memory but couldn't remember. Swamishri continued, Weren't you having trouble with that microphone stand? Oh, I know the trouble. Ah, yes. How did he remember? Yes, Swamishri, It kept drooping and then falling. I tried to tighten the knob to make it stand, but it was difficult to sing, play the harmonium, and keep my eyes on the book while preventing the microphone stand from falling. I heard that Yogi, the author, is actually a wonderful singer, and I think I'm going to ask him to sing a little in the interview too. But don't tell him that, it'll be a surprise. Swamishri agreed. Exactly. That is what I wanted to tell you. One day, it may become difficult to balance everything, and we too may collapse like that microphone stand. The Atman, the true self within us, will rise, and the body will collapse. You may try to revive it like you did that day, but one day, eventually, it will fall for good. Swamishri showed me a visualization. He put his hands up and gently swayed as if drooping to one side and falling on the floor. Just like this, Yogi, me, and you, and everyone. The only way to prepare for it is through bhakti, loving devotion. Love God and Guru, spiritual source and teacher. Serve all with humility. Experience God, source, and all those around you, starting with your own Atman, your own self. That's called Atmanishta, feeling the abiding presence of the divine within your own heart. And enjoy the journey. Do not let death surprise you. We prepare for everything in life but this. Consider yourself warned. You are a singer. What is that bhakti song? In response, I sang half of Premanand Swami's popular bhakti verse. Japeta kal ka aisa japeta, baj ka jaisa. The grasp of death is like the swoop of a hawk. I don't know the melody. One of the attendants walked into the room with yet another phone and heard me singing the bhakti song. Yogi, why are you singing such dreary bhakti songs on New Year's Day? You musicians never know what is appropriate for certain festivals and rituals. Swamishri looked at him and then me. Will death ask before it comes? Perhaps delay its arrival, because it's New Year's Day. Swamishri turned to the call just as easily as he had turned his attention to me. I turned to the rug. Death was not a finality for Swamishri. It was just another transition in the cycle of moksha, of liberation, spiritual transcendence. The ease with which he illustrated the inevitability of death that afternoon prepared me for my face-off with an undiagnosed chronic illness. My own mother's advanced cancer and the passing away of one of my closest friends and a father-like figure. Swamishri had delivered the profound lessons of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita from his room in Gondal. His confidence and ease in facing the next chapter was infectious. It steadied millions like me as we, too, prepared for the inevitable. We were lucky to have a guru and a mother, our own Sri Krishna Bhagwan, watching over and guiding us. The sadhus who served and observed Swamishri towards the end of his time in Sarangpur noted how tranquil he was. He was not in a rush to go to his beloved. He was not desperate to stay and guide his bhaktas. There was no fear or restlessness. He was at peace. He was at ease as he awaited the next chapter. He exhibited a certain respect for life, death, time, and God. He lived the knowledge of the Atman transcending the body and accepted the will of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. He was ready to go when his beloved would take him. Until then, there was bhakti and seva, loving devotion and selfless service. And I'll leave the final section of this chapter for tomorrow. where we literally just have 2 pages, and then that's it, besides an afterword that we'll read also. And then we'll be done with this book, and we'll be picking up another one. So thank you for listening. And again, I ask if you have any questions you'd like for me to relay to Yogi, if his schedule and health allows it. I would be very honored to pass your questions on in a potential interview.